Jamal Carter had worked his whole life to own this home. At 39, after years as an IT consultant and countless sacrifices, he finally purchased a beautiful property in Maplewood Hills. It wasn't just any house, it was a home with a wide green lawn, a wraparound porch, and the peace of knowing his daughter could grow up in a safe neighborhood. But within weeks of moving in, that peace was disrupted. One morning, Jamal walked outside with a cup of coffee and froze. His pristine lawn had fresh tire tracks gouged into it, deep ruts cutting right across the grass he had spent weekends fertilizing and mowing. He assumed it was an accident, maybe a neighbor who swerved to avoid something. He patched the ruts with soil and reseeded the grass, letting it go. But 2 days later, the tracks reappeared, worse this time. The tires had cut across the yard, ripping through flower beds and scraping dirt down to the roots. Jamal noticed the culprit this time, a white SUV with a vanity plate reading Karen 1. Behind the wheel was none other than Linda Patterson, head of the HOA, infamous in the neighborhood for her sharp tongue and entitled behavior. Jamal calmly approached her as she parked. "Excuse me, Mrs. Patterson, you've been driving across my lawn. Could you please stop?" Karen smirked, pulling down her sunglasses. "It's a shortcut, dear. Everyone does it. Besides, grass grows back. You should be grateful I even waved at you." Her words stung, not because of what she said, but how she said it, dismissive, condescending, and with that look in her eye that said she didn't think Jamal belonged here. That night, Jamal sat on his porch staring at the ruined lawn. He had worked too hard to let someone trample his property, literally. Something had to be done. Jamal tried the polite route first. He emailed the HOA, outlining the damage and attaching photos of the tracks. He asked for help in enforcing the community rules. Weeks went by with no reply. When he followed up, the HOA president, Karen herself, replied with one sentence: "Grass isn't permanent, find another complaint." Jamal then set up a camera facing the yard, capturing clear video of Karen's SUV cutting across his lawn at least 3 times a week. He printed screenshots and brought them to the next HOA meeting. But as he presented his evidence, Karen laughed. "Are you seriously wasting everyone's time with this?" she scoffed. "You bought a home in my community. If you don't like the way things are, maybe this neighborhood isn't for you." The other board members shifted uncomfortably but said nothing. Karen controlled the HOA with an iron grip, and no one wanted to challenge her. After the meeting, Jamal's neighbor, Mr. Davis, approached him quietly. "Son, you're not the first she's done this to. But you might be the first willing to stand up." Jamal nodded. He was tired of being dismissed. He decided that if the HOA wouldn't protect his property, he would. That weekend, he visited the hardware store, returning with steel stakes, plywood, and turf patches. He carefully buried the stakes just beneath the surface of the grass, leaving his lawn looking untouched. To anyone driving over it, however, the consequences would be immediate. Jamal didn't want revenge. He wanted respect. And sometimes, respect required teaching a hard lesson. She pointed a manicured finger at him. "This is destruction of property. I'll have you arrested." "Actually," Jamal said evenly, pulling out his phone, "I have weeks of video showing you trespassing and destroying my yard. I've also filed a complaint with the city. These spikes? They're on my property, installed legally. You damaged your own car." Neighbors began to gather, whispering. Phones recorded. For the first time, Karen looked rattled. The tow truck came, dragging her SUV off the lawn while she fumed. But the real damage wasn't to her car, it was to her reputation. Videos of HOA Karen's flat tire justice spread across the neighborhood Facebook group like wildfire. In the days that followed, Karen tried to retaliate. She sent violation notices to Jamal for improper lawn maintenance and unauthorized landscaping. But this time, the HOA board didn't back her. Several neighbors spoke up, tired of her bullying. With the video evidence, Karen's credibility crumbled. At the next HOA election, the community voted her out. For the first time in years, Maplewood Hills had new leadership, neighbors who cared about fairness, not control. Karen, bitter and embarrassed, rarely showed her face again. Her SUV, still sporting mismatched replacement tires, became a reminder of what happens when entitlement meets accountability. As for Jamal, his lawn healed, lush and green once more. He became a quiet hero in the community, not for planting spikes, but for standing up when no one else would. One evening, as he watched his daughter chase fireflies across the grass, he thought about the lesson. Sometimes, life required patience, and sometimes it required strength. But always, it required knowing your worth. Moral: respect must be mutual. When people trample over your boundaries, whether lawns or dignity, standing up for yourself isn't just about protecting what's yours, but about reminding others that every person, no matter who they are, deserves fairness and respect.